It's here in the midst of these rich red cane fields that a once-weekly event of no great consequence occurs. The freight train to Cairns passes through. This particular journey began 2 days before in a little township in the Gulf country. There were no bustling crowds, no clank and crash of trolleys, no tearful farewells to herald this departure. Forsayth is the end of the line, and much too quiet for that. But for the people here, and for those who live in many other tiny communities along the track, this train is a lifeline to the outside world.
163 tonne there for 25.7.
On this trip, the train crew are joined by Ted Francis, an inspector, who'll talk to the people along the line.
Shouldn't be too bad.
His offsider and old friend, Jim Lavelle, will take care of the train. One railway man, the freight collector, ticket clerk, jack of all trades, will stay behind in Forsayth.
Load and stock at now, suppose. We still should be able to maintain pretty good time there, I think. Larry, just tell him we should be all right in there.
The train begins to come together.
Got about 8 feet to go. Steady. Steady there.
Decisions are made now that later will mean fresh water in Mount Surprise, cattle in Mareeba, vehicles in Cairns. For a freight train is a thing of many parts, with carriages and wagons dropped here and added there until it reaches its destination, transformed. To be loaded is the most important, at least to the people out here.
Where would you want your helmet in on the other side, Ray, eh?
Yeah, stationed on that side.
The mail must and does get through.
There's one for Aynsley and one down to Mareeba, and one for Cairns.
Thank you.
Forsayth saw its first train in 1908. The Chillagoe Railway and Mining Company built the line to service the once booming mining town. The Railway Department took it over in 1919. Machinery, goods and people came in. Gold, copper and lead went out. There's not much left now, but empty houses, rusting machinery, a lot of memories, and the railway. Most of the people have gone too. Back to the coast. Back to Cairns. special feeling. But there are no passengers to share that feeling on this train. Just the railway men and wagon after wagon of machinery parts, goods and vehicles consigned, a few cattle, a water tanker, and a sleeping and cooking car for the crew. A track almost 80 years old, where the speed of the train is just 20 kilometres an hour. There's a great loneliness to this part of Queensland, just low scrub dotted here and there with isolated townships and cattle stations, to whom the approaching train makes a comforting sound. And a question for the locals. How did you end up here?
Well, I came here when my first husband died and had the railway station.
You had the railway station?
I did, she did.
Oh, were you the station mistress? Really?
I was.
Is the railway important to the people here?
Yes, very. The railway closed down while they're finished.
Is that right?
That is true. Where are they going to get a job? The stations out around, they can't employ anyone. They've got their own families and that, and they don't employ anybody much. There's no work around for them to get or anything.
So
the railway is really the main stay of the place.
Began his railway career as a lad porter and worked his way up through engine driver to loco inspector today. The station mistress at Aynsley is well prepared for the moment the train arrives. Like the station master at Forsayth, she too is jack of all trades and a little nervous at the inspector's visit.
What would you have to pick up today for this train?
I've got mail to go out and parcels to go out.
Okay then, thank you very much. We'll go and do the shunting then.
Yes, thank you. I've got the list of the things that are going out.
You've got the list there, right then.
Right,
well,
thank
I'll
you.
get that list from you.
Aynsley itself is a cattle township and railhead, and like so many others along the track, will just fade away except for the railway station and the freight train. Passenger trains, the freight is not glamorous or fast, but it too has a schedule to keep, so it must push on to its next stop, Mount Surprise. The hobbled horses are a reminder of the old days, when a coach and 4 horses linked Mount Surprise with the coast. The water tower is a reminder too of the days of steam. It's another brief stopover for Ted Francis and a quickening of the pace.
down the bottom, come round, you pull the train down, it'll skid past and go.
Okay.
Here the engines will be changed, for from Mount Surprise on, the track improves and the train can travel faster with a greater load. The shunting is a big event in the little township. Plains give way to foothills with gentle curves in the line to break the monotony. Before the 1950s, there were few roads out here, cars were rare, and most people travelled on the train. Then the journey took 2 days. It still does. Passengers would de-train and walk to a hotel for the night. But now, Ted Francis has the small luxury of sleeping on board.
What train I'm on, so won't you tell me where I'm going?
Time or another, Ted Francis has travelled every line in Queensland, from Wallangarra on the southern border to Normanton in the north. In 1947, his station was Almaden, and this is a kind of homecoming.
Hello, Almaden. Okay, good. Thanks very much.
Good to see you.
Almaden once owed its prosperity to mining and the passengers who stayed overnight. But now, like Aynsley and Mount Surprise, there's not much left but the railwaymen. who maintain the railway follow in the footsteps of the pioneers who built it. They put up with heat, isolation, and either droughts or floods. They worked at speed, driven by the promise of bonuses for every kilometre of track laid. But sickness caused by malaria, typhus, dysentery, scrub tick and snakebite took their toll. There were many accidents too, with more than 16 workers killed building tunnels and bridges through the ranges alone. Ranges above Cairns, and like a horse scenting home, the train quickens pace. Scrub gives way to lush green rainforest, flat plains to mountains and valleys. And the journey almost over. It's a large marshalling centre for trains from the north, south and west. Cairns also is the end of the line and home for the freight train. It's home too for Ted and his grown-up family, none of whom plan a career in the railways as he did. Finally, the freight, the parcels, the goods consigned, the machinery, the mail are unloaded. Then, once again, the freight train will be ready to roll.